Hey folks, CA Rachna Ranade here, and I welcome you all to one of the most important videos of the year because this is about Budget 2025 highlights. We are going to talk about which are the sectors which will have a positive impact because of the budget and which sectors will see a negative impact. Like I always say, right, keep on watching the video till the end because in today's video also some really important point is going to come towards the end of the video. I'm sure Nirmala madam also watches our videos because she also used the same thing today. Keep on watching the budget till the end, and you know what happened at the end, right? The big announcement about income tax was made at the end of the budget today. But what was that announcement all about? I'm sure you know something, you have read it in on the WhatsApp University, but instead of that, let's take a very nice example and understand the real impact. And for that, have a look at this. Now, if you see here, this is the revised tax structure that you can see. 0 to 4 lakh tax rate is nil, and you can see 4 to 8 5%, 8 to 12 10%, 12 to 16 15, then 20, then 25, and above 25 lakhs, above 24 lakhs, now the tax rate stands at 30%. I'm sure you might have read that up to 12 lakhs, actually tax has been taken down to zero. But then what are these tax slabs doing on earth if up to 12 lakhs income is zero? Now understand, the word that is typically used is rebate. Okay, rebate is like a discount. So we'll take a simple example and understand how does this work. Okay, so let's take the example of Chandu's salary is, let us say, 12 lakh rupees. Okay, now how will Chandu's salary be, I mean, how will Chandu's tax be calculated? For 0 to 4 lakhs, 0, 4 to 8, 20,000 rupees. Why? In the 5% category. 8 to 12 lakhs, 10%. So that will come to 4 lakh. So that will come to 40,000. So what is the total? 20,000 plus 40,000. Total tax liability for Chandu will come to 60,000. But then a rebate will be given which is of 60,000, and that is why the tax liability will go down to zero. What will come in the headlines? If salary is up to 12 lakhs, your tax liability is zero. But how zero? Because of the rebate. Okay, so I hope you have understood this. But then you might be like, Rachna, if someone's income is 13 lakhs, then what? So for that, we'll have a look at this chart. If it is too small, you can pause, you can zoom, and then understand. So let's take an example of this. If the total income was 13 lakhs, then the tax will be calculated as per what? As per these tax slabs that I discussed right now. 0 to 4 will be nil, 4 to 8 5% of this 4 lakh, and so on and so forth. So what will be the income tax for a person whose income is 13 lakh? It will be 75,000 as per the proposed rate. As per existing rate, it was 1 lakh. So how much tax is saved now? 25,000 is the saved tax. Now if I were to talk about a person who is earning, let us say, 2 lakh rupees per month, for such a person total income will be 24 lakh. As per the existing tax laws, his tax would have been 4 lakh 10,000. As per the new tax, it is going to be 3 lakh. That is why it will lead to a saving of 1 lakh 10,000 rupees. Isn't that a big one? Absolutely yes. It's almost like 10,000 rupees saved per month. Wow, such an amazing thing, right? So I want you all to tell me that if you are in that category of where you are saying what, 9,000, 10,000 rupees per month, where are you going to spend that money? I want you all to tell that in the comment section. People can spend on a lot of things, and there can be some people who, rather than spending, can invest in knowledge. But where, of course, you know that for that we have our website, rachnaranade.com, and here we have a lot of courses which are available. Today we are running the special coupon code which is budget. The coupon code is valid only till tomorrow, and you can use this coupon code to save a little bit more. If you want to just check out, some free lectures are also available on our website. Free lectures about a lot of topics, right from basics to some advanced topics. So don't forget to check out our website, www.rachanaranade.com. Link is there in the pinned comment and in the description box below. Now let us go back to our budget discussion. So where we were talking about a case where if a person's income is up to 12 lakh rupees. But now let's understand one more scenario about, let's take again Chandu's scenario only, where let us say his income, total income was again 12 lakh, but that was only and only because of capital gain, short term capital gain. Then what? So assume his salary was zero and capital gain was purely 12 lakhs. It was a pure short term capital gain on listed shares. That's a special rate, 20. And that is the reason why, if 12 lakh is the total capital gain, short term capital gain, 12 lakh multiplied by 20%, that person will have to shell out 2 lakh 40,000 rupees in taxes. Okay. So I hope you have understood this 12 lakh ka special taxation that we were talking about, up to 12 lakh zero. It's not about income which is taxed at special tax rates. Okay, now let's go on to few more points which came up in the budget. Something for senior citizens, where the interest income would attract a TDS if the interest was up to 50,000. Now it has been taken to 1 lakh. Similarly, TDS threshold on rent has been enhanced from 2.4 lakhs to 6 lakhs. And one more amazing point has been done for income from house property, where initially only one house property was to be considered as a self occupied house property. Now this will be extended to two properties for self occupied house property. Basically, it's about the annual value calculation and this that. It's a little bit more into detail. We are not going to go into detail for this one. If you want to read more, of course, a lot of budget material is available. This was about income tax. Now let's about understand about the impact on stock market. Today, one thing which gave a negative impact on stock market was about the capex target. Capital expenditure target for 2025 was cut to 10.18 lakh crores, or 10.18 trillion, from 11.11 trillion. See, understand, if capex is cut, that is definitely not considered as a good sign. Why? Because capital expenditure starts the rolling of the entire economy. Okay, that creates a lot of job opportunities, that creates a lot of income among so many people. So capex cut will never be taken positively by the stock market, and that was the reason why, in fact, stock market did see a dip. But of course, when new points were in focus again, it started reviving a little bit, where she said we are now going to focus on four engines of development. Which four engines of development? One was agriculture, second MSME, third investment, and fourth exports. Also, let's try and understand, how does the government think? Why might have they thought about these four engines for development? Is there any reason for that? So today I'm not only going to talk about the budget highlights, but also I'll try to explain why they might have prioritized these four things. Was there a logic for that? I'm presenting my logic. Hopefully government's logic is similar at least. Okay, so first engine is agriculture. Now this is some important data point, that agriculture as a sector provides livelihood support to 42.3% of India's population, and it has a share of 18.2% in our country's GDP. So if it is such an important sector providing livelihood to so many people in India, definitely some special attention needs to be given to this sector. And that is the reason why some measures were announced to boost agricultural infrastructure, crop productivity, and also credit support to farmers in this budget. Of course, fertilizer agri stocks were immediately up by 4 to 5% after this announcement. They have launched a special edible national mission for edible oil seed, and the purpose is to achieve Atmanirbhar, that is self sufficiency in edible oils and also in pulses. She also emphasized that we have a capability to grow enough, and in fact more, not only for our needs but even maybe something like exporting them as well. A separate makhana board is going to be established for production, processing, validation, and marketing of makhana in Bihar. Okay, now why makhana? So it has been observed that a lot of people are becoming more and more health conscious. This is a good food item for more and more protein intake, right? So makhana apparently contains a lot of protein, so that is the reason why maybe more importance is being given here, right? Second engine is MSME. Again, let's try and understand why focus on MSME. Over 1 crore MSMEs do over 36% of India's manufacturing. So basically, over 1 crore MSMEs contribute, is a better word, contribute to over 36% of India's manufacturing and 45% of the exports, and they employ 7.4 crore people of India. If that be so, of course, specific attention needs to be given to MSMEs. What has happened is that investment limits have been increased and turnover limits have been increased 2.5 times and 2 times respectively. So, just as an example, for a company to be classified as micro enterprise, earlier investment limit was 1 crore, now it is 2.5 crores. Similarly, turnover criteria was 5 crores, now revised to 10 crores. Now you might be like, okay, Rachna, just because this criteria has been revised, how will it impact MSMEs? Okay, logic is simple. If a company is classified as an MSME, what happens is that it will get access to loans at a lower interest rates. They'll get tax subsidies. They'll get some different government incentives and schemes benefit also. And that is the reason why MSMEs has been specifically focused as one of the growth engines. The third engine is investment, and in investment they have done three parts. So investment, first part is investment in people, the second one is investing in the economy, and the third one is investing in innovation. So we'll go one by one. The very first one is investing in people. I actually recalled this line, that is why I wrote it here. Padhega India, to badhega India. I'm sure you might have heard about this tagline by the government, and that is what might be the intent, which is about investing in people. For that, they have mentioned about expansion of IITs, medical education facilities as well. So the point here is that if people get better education. We have a good demographic dividend in India right now, a lot of youngsters in India. But if they were to get good employment, or if they were to generate employment, ideally there should be good educational facilities, and that might be the reason why they're talking about expansion of IITs and also medical education facilities. One amazing thing about gig workers has been mentioned in the budget today. I was so happy to listen to these new terms being talked about by our finance minister. Gig workers are basically like freelancers. Okay, freelancers could be from something like, I mean, from different fields. It's not related to only they are doing some physical work related to construction, let us say. It could also be related to skilled work also. So you might have heard about gig workers who will do an assignment basis thing, like just developing a website ka some part, or maybe something related to animation or whatever. That's also like a gig, that's also like a gig, a small work. So what has been done by the government? They are saying that we are going to arrange for identity cards, and they are encouraging registration on e-shram portal and healthcare under PM Jan Arogya Yojana, for which gig workers will can expect a benefit of almost one. I mean, with this whole PM Jan Arogya Yojana, that can benefit almost 1 crore gig workers. So what is this? Mainly, they are providing healthcare facilities to these gig workers, and they are actually recognizing them to be a part of the mainstream workforce, right? The second part is about investing in the eco. So first part, I hope, is clear. First part was about investing in the people. Second part is about investing in the economy. Now, what do we talk about here? It's about boosting tourism also, because they have announced greenfield airports in Bihar. They have also talked about a modified Udan scheme, which will enhance regional connectivity to 120 new destinations and carry 4 crore passengers in the next 10 years, wherein they are wanting to connect to different smaller cities, be it in the hilly areas, be it in the northeastern districts. So mainly here the intent is to have a better connectivity in India. Simple as that. Let's say I belong to a tier 2 or a tier 3 city, and if I get good connectivity in my hometown, I might not prefer to reallocate myself to bigger towns. So obviously the load on bigger towns, example Pune and Mumbai in Maharashtra, that load will also be reduced, and overall connectivity will also improve. Third part is about investing in innovation, where deep tech fund of funds is to be explored to catalyze the new generation startups, and additional 20,000 crores will be allocated to implement private sector driven research and development. Now here, what is this all about? See, we keep on listening about some innovation in USA. I'm sure everyone has read about the latest innovation in China, right? The AI thing in China. We always keep on feeling that why not something like this is coming up in India? Again, of course, I'm sure there are a lot of people who are working about this, but if government is also setting up new funds for that, is allocating some funds for that, is always a welcome move, right? So the third point talks about investing in innovation. The fourth engine that they're focused on is exports, and you can see here that India hit a record, not a good record, a bad record of trade deficit of around $32.8 billion in November 2024. Now what do I mean by a trade deficit? Basically, imports are greater than exports. So of course this is not going to be appreciated, and that is the reason why our government is wanting to boost exports, and for that they have done two things. Number one, they have said that we will streamline credit access for exporters, so basically that will give a boost to the exporters. And second, they have also announced the creation of Bharat Trade Net. It will mainly overall simplify the export procedures, so again will make the life of exporters a bit easy. All in all, this was about the four focus areas. But does that mean that apart from these four focus areas, no other area was discussed? Of course, there were a lot of other sectors were discussed. But if I were to talk about each and every sector, it will take another 2 hours. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to talk about three sectors right now. First one is power, second one is shipbuilding, and third one is tourism. I'm going to talk about these sectors. I want you all to tell me in the comment section which stocks can get positively impacted because of news related to these sectors. The very first one is power. What they have done is that they said that our target of nuclear energy by 2047 is of at least 100 gigawatts, and the current nuclear capacity that India has is 8.18 gigawatts. Is there a huge gap? Answer is yes. Maybe there are some hindrances that we are facing, some hurdles that we are facing because of this Act of Atomic Energy Act and Civil Liability for Nuclear Damages Act. uh, Maybe to remove the hindrances, they are mentioning that we will amend this act so that we can realize the goal of 100 gigawatts of nuclear energy. Okay, I hope this is clear. One more thing that they have mentioned is about the lithium ion battery. Right now what they have said is that because we want to focus more on EV sector, specifically for EV, main cost is about the battery, which is the lithium ion battery. And to reduce the direct imports of lithium ion battery, what they'll do is they'll say that okay, some parts, for importing of some parts of that lithium ion battery, we will waive off the custom duty. So right now 35 additional capital goods for EV battery manufacturing, and not only for EV battery manufacturing, they said additional 28 capital goods for mobile phone battery manufacturing also. They are making it exempt from customs only, of course, if ultimately they are being manufactured here. So entire EV battery will not be imported, some parts will be imported, and ultimately the EV battery will be made here. Okay, so that was the reason why it was also taken positively by two-wheeler auto companies as well. For shipbuilding, 25,000 crores rupees ka maritime development fund has been announced, which will provide long-term and low-cost financing support for indigenous shipbuilding. More and more ships should be built in India. But when I thought that what is the logic, why more and more ships should be built in India? For that, I found this crazy stat. It said that India paid close to $75 billion, and if I were to convert that with 85 rupees roughly of exchange rate, that comes to 6.5 trillion rupees, that is 6,50,000 crore rupees annually on sea freight paid to foreign operators. Just to reduce this sea freight cost paid to foreign operators, maybe that is the reason why this maritime development fund is being announced. So a good one, right? Third one is about tourism. 50 tourist destination sites will be developed in partnership with state through a challenge mode. They're asking states to compete with each other. Best one will be, I mean, which are topping the list, they'll be given more and more PLIs to these states, those who are doing effective destination management. They're also promoting medical tourism and Heal in India. I'm sure everyone knows about this. A lot of people come to India just to get themselves treated. So that is also a big part for overall tourism as well. Other announcements were made for toys, for leather and footwear, insurance, and the list goes on, right? But we'll have to cut short on some points. Ultimately, there were two sectors which were like crying because they didn't find any clear cut mention. They were singing these songs ki बोल दो ना जरा दिल में है क्या छुपा. This sector was saying this song to Nirmala madam. One more song which was कौन सा म्हणलं होतं रे आपण? I have written it down maybe. Second, बोलना माही has given me hint. बोलना माही बोलना. This song was also being sung by which two sectors? Defense and railway. These two sectors which were being talked about so much in the last budget and in the last budget as well, this time no specific big announcement came in for neither, I mean, it didn't neither come up for defense nor for railways, and that is the reason why in fact there were a lot of railway stocks which even fell down by almost 10%. So of course there are some points which are there about railways in the annexures and all that, but no specific big announcement was made, and that is the reason why overall bad news for these two sectors. Again, let me know in the comment section which stocks do you feel can maybe take a little bit of negative impact because of this. Ultimately, before we close off the video, one good news about the fiscal deficit is about it is narrowing down. Old figure was about 4.9% for financial year 24-25. That was basically the budgeted estimate. The revised estimate now stands at 4.8%. Always remember, lower the better. For 25-26, the original estimate, budgeted estimate was about 4.5%, and the revised estimate is 4.4%. So all in all, as far as the fiscal deficit is concerned, that will be considered as a good news. Lower the better. I hope you have understood a lot of points about budget 2025. Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As I mentioned, please don't forget to check out the link in the description and in the pinned comments, just in case if I fumbled upon some words. I hope you found a lot of value in today's video. If you did, please don't forget to like the video. Please don't forget to share it with your friends. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, take care. Jai Hind and bye bye.